Well, thank you, everybody. On behalf of our organization, Ensco Long Insurance Group, we're proud to be a sponsor again of the organization of the Bayer Center. Thank you for everything you do. We're happy to be sponsors, partners. I even had a little fun as a presenter for the first time at the conference. We'll see if I'm allowed to do that again. Not sure yet. The jury's out. To make it even more interesting, of course, Peggy decided to sit in on that event to make it a little more difficult for me. But we really do appreciate everybody coming back and visiting with us. We look forward to seeing you again next year. Congratulations. She's already playing with the iPad. But again, thank you. I just want to introduce Melinda McDonough from Selective.
Hi, everyone. Just happy to be here, represent Selective Insurance. It's our second year at the conference. Very proud to sponsor the Bayer Center and the TechNow conference. And we've really enjoyed it both years. And we'll probably be back. So, thank you.
Thank you. And I know I'll be back because Cindy's going to grab me before I even get out the door. So I'll see you guys all next year, I'm sure of it. And now, if I can just find my way through, I'd like to introduce John Kenyon. John is the principal of John A. Kenyon Consulting. He is our keynote speaker today. John's presentation is entitled Cornerstones Before Water Slides, Why a Website and Email Strategy Matter in the Social Media Age. Through social media, though social media is currently all the rage, a strong website and email campaign remain critical pieces in your organization's online presence and engagement strategy. Find out why and learn how to strengthen your organization's website and email in this interactive keynote session. Yes, I am reading this from what you all have. By the way, I couldn't memorize all of this, plus my presentation earlier. John's a technology educator and strategist who has worked with nonprofits for over 20 years, providing advice, teaching seminars, and writing articles. Every day, he educates and counsels nonprofits about using technology strategically because he knows it can help their organizations operate more effectively and efficiently. I couldn't figure out which one went first there. So with that, John, I'd like to hand everything over to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. I know, you're going to keep that.
He doesn't need a microphone, so I have a feeling he's going to be loud.
That's right. Well, I think I've got this lavalier. Can anyone not hear me all right? Okay, great. All right, so, and I know you've been sitting for a while, so I want you all to stand up for this beginning of this keynote. Because I've got a live analog poll that I would like to do. Oh, thank you. All right, if you know the top 5 most popular pages on your website, you can sit down. Good, I'm seeing a couple. Great, so I'm seeing about 80% of you still standing up. Okay, that's fine. All right, now, if you know how many clicks, how many people open your emails, you can sit down. Good, a couple more. Great. So for all of you standing up, I'm going to, advocate that you have some way to know what is this popular content on your website. So great job. Go ahead and sit down. Hopefully you'll leave today with a to-do list, and I'm hoping that number 1 is going to be find out about our website statistics, because that's a gold mine of information. So, it's titled Cornerstones Before Water Slides because your website and your email are really the central hub of your online presence. Social media, I think it's important for nonprofits to be part of that. I think that it's really important for you to have a foot into it. But my line about it is that you have to eat your vegetables before you have dessert. Now, this doesn't mean that social media is something that's fattening or that you should skip or something like that. I think it's important for you to have it. But if you're only eating dessert and you're not eating your vegetables, I'm not thinking you're going to be maintaining your health very well, all right? So, in terms of foundational elements, that you've got email. And email is, focused usually on updates, calls to action. You've got campaigns, but also email is one of the #1 drivers of traffic to your website. So I know a lot of organizations that are really fired up or maybe doing a great job with social media, and their email isn't really that presentable. All right. So That's kind of the focus of email. So, and on your website though is where you've got content. You're having conversations if you have a blog. But really, what it's about is this is the place where transactions happen. Yes, you can collect donations through something like Causes on Facebook and in other places. But most online donations, I think something like 90%, come through a website. So if you don't have a great, easy-to-use donation or registration, whatever your focus is on your website, you're missing out on that. So, as I said, you still want to be interacting with social media, because here is also where you can post content, videos, pictures, have conversations, encourage people to share, and also drive traffic to your website. But for those of you who were left standing, if you don't have a handle on your website statistics, it's difficult for you to understand, are my efforts on social media paying off? Because that way you can see, are these links that I'm posting to the content on my website actually driving traffic and resulting in actual actions and activity? All right, so the other metaphor that I use is that because these are the foundational elements, if the foundation's off, your whole house is going to lean. And I'm not sure you really want to live in this house. Okay, because you've got that foundation, and then your social media stuff just isn't going to be as strong, in my experience. All right. So, as I said, I really feel like your website and your blog need to be kind of the core element. That you've got, when your e-newsletters goes out, you're pointing to content on the website. Same with email and also in print. I mean, I'm here today talking to you about online stuff, but I want you to know I'm still an advocate for print. Because you know what I'm really an advocate for? Asking your stakeholders and the people you communicate with what they want. I've had clients who said, we got rid of our print newsletter and we're going all to email because it's going to save us a lot of money. Well, what if that $10,000 a year donor doesn't do email and like your print newsletter and things like that? Also, I think there's some value to something that's in print that sits on someone's coffee table or someone's desk, because unless I'm digging through your computer, I don't really get to see that e-newsletter. All right, so I still think there's a place for that. But and again, so what I'm hoping that you have is a coordinated approach, because for example, what's the first thing I do when I get your fundraising letter for your end of the year campaign? Set it aside, yes, that could be. But right, go to your website. And if I don't see that same campaign mentioned on your website that's mentioned in this letter, you don't look coordinated. And in fact, you're not. And if you can't coordinate your communications, why am I going to part with my hard-earned money to support you? Okay? Same with social media. Again, if I don't see you talking about this campaign, be it on Facebook and Twitter or other places, that's what's going to really reinforce your message and be the most effective kind of communication you can do. Right? So, I just want to kind of walk you a little bit through this online engagement cycle where, you're finding out, you're doing research, you're looking at your metrics. I often use the example of an organization that deals with bears, eagles, and salmon. If you don't have something in your database that tells you what the majority of your folks, what their primary interest is, your fundraising campaigns about salmon that are falling flat and not getting results, when you finally look and ask folks, what's your primary area of interest in our organization, you might find out that 70% of your folks are bear folks. That's their primary area of interest. They only care about salmon because bears eat them. Okay? So, but that can be really valuable, because if you want them to be interested in salmon, you can say, the mercury levels in salmon are really hurting those bears that you love. All right? So I think it's really important, and that's the other reason to be looking at what are people clicking on my emails? What pages on my website are they spending time on are the most popular? Because if you can classify those by whatever makes sense for you, bears, eagles, and salmon, early childhood, teens, adults, whatever it may be, so that you understand what's happening. That's also going to help you guide your content creation. And a tip that's been really useful for a lot of my organizations, and some of you may be doing this already, is an editorial calendar. Because what the goal usually is to change your culture so that everyone is contributing content. All right, everyone in your organization benefits from your website. You get donations, events, volunteer opportunities, all those sorts of things, programs. So if everyone benefits, then shouldn't everyone be contributing? All right. So by having an editorial calendar, you can make it really clear for folks what the topic is you're wanting them to focus on. So an easy example is Mother's Day. May is Mother's Day is in May. So you can say, all right, on May our stories are going to focus on moms. I need a story about a great volunteer who's a mom, maybe someone on our board who's a mom, someone who's gone through our program who's a mom, things like that. Maybe a donor who's a mom or has put us in her will, and she's able to talk about, I want to leave this legacy for my children. So it's so much easier if you're asking folks to contribute content to have something like that, to have that kind of a guideline. All right? Then you need to optimize and distribute it. I'm going to put the full piece of content on my website where folks can read through the different pages. I may grab a tidbit or a factoid or something like that, post it to Twitter, maybe post it to Facebook. Maybe I'm going to take 3 or 4 little tidbits or facts out of that article, and over time, over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to post them at different times on Facebook. So encourage people to go to that. Distribute it, then you let folks engage with it. You try and influence them about letting them know what your position is on an issue, some of the great things you're doing in your programs, and then again, monitoring and evaluating. All right, especially if you're trying social media and you're trying different things. I work a lot with Beth Cantor, and one of the things that we often advocate for is trying small experiments. And to me, this even goes for things like QR codes. Take one event, take one program, and say, if we're going to do a flyer on this, let's try a QR